In today's episode, we're diving into something that hits close to home for many people, but often stays hidden: social anxiety. We're going to explore why it takes over so easily and, more importantly, what you can do to start taking back control. Social anxiety is one of those experiences that can sneak up on you fast. You walk into a room, maybe it's a small get-together, maybe it's a larger event, and before you've even said a word, your brain starts spinning. You're thinking, what do I say? Should I speak now or wait? Do I sound weird? Are people noticing? You watch others chatting like it's second nature, and meanwhile you're stuck, unsure where or how to jump in, worried you might be interrupting or worse, judged. And here's the kicker. You know you're overthinking. You know it shouldn't feel this hard. But that knowledge doesn't stop it. Even when you do speak up, it can still feel unnatural, forced, like you're performing instead of participating. So today we're not just talking about what social anxiety is. We're breaking down why telling yourself to relax doesn't work, why just be confident can make things worse, and why all the logical strategies you've tried haven't really helped. Because this isn't just about your thoughts. Social anxiety is a full-body pattern wired into your nervous system. And once you understand how that system operates, you can stop fighting yourself and start working with what's actually happening inside you. Let's start here. Most people who deal with social anxiety are actually extremely self-aware. They know they're overthinking. They've read all the advice. They've practiced conversations in their heads 100 times. But none of it shuts off the noise. Why? Because the issue isn't that you don't know what to do. It's that your brain is stuck between two systems, firing at the same time. First, there's your thinking brain. That's the part that tries to plan everything, read the room, find the right words, predict how others might respond. It's constantly scanning and correcting. Then, there's your emotional brain. That's where fear comes from. It's the voice that says, this could go badly. You might get judged. You're not safe. And in social anxiety, these two parts start feeding off each other. Your thinking brain tries to solve the anxiety, but your emotional brain interprets that effort as a sign of danger. And now you're anxious about being anxious. Every time you try to fix it with more thought, you feed the loop. You believe, if I just say the perfect thing, if I time this just right, then maybe the anxiety will go away. But instead, you're just getting more trapped in your head. And now you're watching yourself constantly, second-guessing, overanalyzing, rehearsing. At that point, socializing stops feeling real. It becomes a performance. And performing, especially when you're anxious, is exhausting. So, what do most people do? They retreat. Maybe not physically. You're still in the room, still smiling, nodding. But mentally, you've shut down. You're looking at your phone. You're rehearsing lines. You're stuck inside your own head, completely disconnected from the actual moment. And that's where something important gets missed. Your brain has systems designed to help you feel safe in social settings. There's a part of your brain that reads emotional cues, tiny things like a smile, a shift in posture, brief eye contact. Those signals tell your nervous system, you're okay here. But if you're looking at the floor, or your phone, or avoiding eye contact entirely, those signals never get through. So now you're standing in a room full of people who might actually be open, warm, even happy to include you. But your brain has no idea, because it's running on fear, not facts. And even if someone does smile at you or say something kind, your nervous system might be too busy bracing for rejection to even notice. So how do we start to change that? The first step is surprisingly simple. Stop searching for safety inside your head and start paying attention to what's actually around you. That begins with one small act. Look up. Now let's talk about something most people try, especially if social anxiety has been part of your life for a while. You've probably developed a habit of trying to talk yourself down during anxious moments. You've told yourself things like, it's fine. I'm overreacting. Nobody's paying attention to me. And on paper, that sounds helpful, right? But here's the catch. Your anxious brain doesn't respond to logic, not in the moment. It's not searching for a rational explanation. It's scanning for evidence that you're actually safe. And that evidence doesn't come from inside your thoughts. It comes from what you see and hear. When someone smiles at you, when you catch a relaxed tone of voice, when a person slightly shifts to include you in a conversation, those are the cues your brain can believe. But when you're stuck in your head, trying to reason your way out of fear, your system keeps spinning. There's no new input, just the same anxious loop repeating itself. So instead of relying on internal pep talks, start asking yourself, what do I see? What are people's faces telling me? What's the tone of the room? Can I pick up on any signs, any at all, that I'm not being rejected? Because that kind of perception, that's what builds real safety. Not the idea of safety, not just positive thinking, but actual sensory-based evidence that your brain can feel. Now, let's shift from your thoughts and perceptions to something even more primal, your body. One of the most overlooked tools in managing social anxiety is posture. And no, this isn't about standing tall to look confident or faking some kind of alpha energy. It's about sending the right message back to your nervous system. Here's how it works. When your shoulders are hunched, when your chest is closed off, when your eyes are down, your body is sending a signal to your brain, we're under threat, and your brain listens. But when you gently roll your shoulders back, open your chest just a little, and lift your gaze, not aggressively, just slightly, you're telling your system, I think we're okay. And that subtle change, it's powerful. Because this isn't just psychological, it's physical. When your posture opens up, your lungs have more room. You breathe deeper, especially on the exhale, and long, slow exhalations activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for calming you down. So here's a quick exercise. Before walking into a social situation, pause for just a second. Imagine you're gently cracking a small egg between your shoulder blades, just enough to open up. Take one deep breath in, then slowly exhale. That tiny moment, posture plus breath, can shift how your body interprets the situation. Not because the environment changed, but because you changed the signals your system is receiving. Now here's where it gets tricky. As soon as your body starts to open up a little, you become more aware of your surroundings, and suddenly it hits you. You're in a room full of people. That's when eye contact can start to feel overwhelming, too exposing. You might think, if I look at someone, they'll see how nervous I am. They'll notice I don't belong here, or they'll realize I feel awkward. But here's something we don't talk about enough. Avoiding eye contact doesn't just hide you from others. It also hides others from you. And when your brain can't read the faces around you, it fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios. So let's rethink what eye contact is. It's not about proving confidence, it's about gathering information. It's a way for your brain to get real-time data from the environment. And you don't need to stare, you don't need to force it. Start small. If you're in a group, glance at the speaker's face for just a second or two. In a one-on-one, angle your body slightly so it feels less intense, and let your eyes meet theirs briefly, now and then. You're not trying to perform. You're giving your brain access to reality. A raised eyebrow, a relaxed smile, a nod. These micro-signals are gold for your nervous system, but only if you give it the chance to see them. Smiling is another piece of this puzzle, and I know it sounds simple, maybe even cliché, but a genuine, gentle smile can shift everything. Not because it makes you look approachable, not because it tricks people into liking you, but because it creates a response. When you smile, even just for a moment, most people smile back. Their face softens, their energy shifts. And when your brain sees that response, it registers something important. Okay, we're safe. And we're not talking about a big forced grin, just a subtle, real flash of warmth. You can try it in neutral situations. Ordering a coffee, passing someone in the hallway, talking to a cashier, not to fake anything, but to practice cracking that door open, just a little. Because over time, that tiny gesture becomes a bridge from isolation to connection. At this point, maybe it's starting to click. You're beginning to understand what your nervous system actually needs. Not more thinking, not more pressure, but small, steady signals of real-world safety. And here's where a lot of people fall into the next trap. They try to apply all of this at once, but only in the most high-pressure situations, like right before a first date, or during a job interview, or at a party full of strangers. And then they wonder why it doesn't work. But here's the truth. Your nervous system doesn't learn under pressure. It learns through repetition. It learns through low-stakes moments that feel safe enough to explore something new. So instead of starting big, start small, really small. The next time you're in a grocery store, make eye contact with the cashier for just 1 second. When you're walking down your street, offer a soft, simple smile to someone passing by. When you're in line somewhere, take one deep breath and exhale slowly. These tiny actions might feel meaningless, but this is how your nervous system starts to trust again. Think of it like lifting small weights at the gym. At first, the goal isn't to become strong overnight. The goal is just to remind your body how to move. Social confidence works exactly the same way. You're not trying to become fearless. You're not aiming to be charismatic right away. You're simply building the foundation, one repetition at a time. And as you get those reps in, your nervous system starts to remember, I've done this before. I survived that moment. I can handle this. And then, when the bigger moments come, like that date or that party or that presentation, you'll bring something new with you, not a script, not fake confidence, but a body and brain that already know what safety feels like. So no, you don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to be perfectly confident or completely fearless. You just need to start building a new relationship with your body, with your senses, and with the world around you. It starts with one glance, one breath, one smile, and what opens up from there might surprise you. Because when you stop trying to control every outcome and instead give your nervous system the space to feel safe again, that's when you actually start to come back to yourself. If something in this resonated with you, if a part of this felt familiar or made you reflect on your own experience, leave a comment and let me know. I'd really love to hear how you've been navigating this, or if you've tried any of these strategies before. And if you're still working through social anxiety right now, just remember, this isn't about becoming someone else. It's not about being perfect. It's not even about being better. It's about learning how to stay with yourself, even when things feel uncomfortable. That's the real work. Not pushing your feelings away, not trying to fake confidence, just learning how to exist, right here, right now, without having to fight yourself every step of the way. That's all for today. I hope this gave you something to reflect on. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.